And that other team that Kelley is referring to, and the team that the Knicks will meet in the Eastern Conference Semis. By the way, congratulations to everybody who had the Bucks and the Heat going under 5.5 games. I'm sure it's exactly how you scripted it. Congrats on your bet.
That was the only thing that made me laugh this morning is when you brought that up when I walked in.
Incredible. The Heat, unbelievably, close out the Bucks in 5. 5. The Heat, who we talked about, and let's put up these tweets if we could, Kelley, real quick for Sports Odds history. If you want to know, like, where does this rank in the history of series betting in NBA playoff history? This is by betting numbers, the 5th biggest upset in a series in the history, or at least as long as Sports Odds history has gone back in time with series odds pre-flop. Miami plus 750 pre-flop against the Bucks. But I would argue as we look at this list here, Kelley, and I put out a sort of a quote tweet on this, what is the longest of all time was Denver beating Seattle back in 1994, but that was a best of 5. So that's different. 2007, it was the We Believe Warriors, who, yes, the Mavericks did win 67 games that year. This was an 8-1 series also, but the Dubs won 16 of their last 21 regular season games, and they also beat the Mavs 3 times in the regular season. So it wasn't that big of a surprise if you were following hoops that year, even though the Mavs won 67. 2012, it was that first-round series, a 1-8 between the Sixers and the Bulls. But you'll remember, that's the 3rd biggest upset of all time, but you'll remember Derrick Rose tore his ACL in Game 1.
Yep.
So kind of throw that out. And the 4th biggest upset by series price, betting odds, was in the bubble. So that doesn't count because you're not really playing road games, true road games. So I could argue that the Heat beating the Bucks, and especially doing it in 5 without Tyler Hero and portions of Victor Oladipo, obviously. Yes, I get it. Giannis missed a couple games too. 3, 2.5, 2 3/4, if you will. But the Heat were 25th in offensive rating during the regular season. They were 26th in field goal percentage. They were 27th in three-point percentage. And they beat the team with the NBA's best record in 5. And I think betting odds aside, you can make a case this is the worst of all time.
I agree.
And by the way, I got one, somebody said this morning, oh, yeah, but betting odds, I mean, isn't it baked into the odds, all of this, with the exception of the Derrick Rose injury? Betting odds have sort of evolved also through the years. Like the Nuggets-Sonics betting odds in 1994 was quite frankly not as sophisticated as it is today, or not as calibrated.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's the worst of all time. And here, by the way, this is the history of number 1 seeds losing to 8 seeds. There's the Rose injury one. Those Grizzlies teams had Zach Randolph on them as well. That Grizzlies team in 2011 that beat the Spurs. There's the Mavs. We believe Warriors beating the Mavs of 1-8. The Heat losing to the Knicks was a best of 5, and the Sonics losing to the Nuggets was a best of 5. So I really think this is the top of the heap in many ways. And your bets, man, dude, let me just say this. I barely texted anybody after this game last night because you weren't the only one. I knew so many people had the Bucks tied into everything. First half game, but I'm talking like series. I'm talking about cross-sport parlays,
Yeah.
titles, Eastern Conference.
It was really bad. But, I mean, yeah, just from the historical perspective, quick, I'm with you, Gill. This is the most shocking one to me of all time.
I think it is.
I don't care that Giannis missed a couple games. I still thought the Bucks roster was better than what the Miami Heat were throwing out there most of the time, even without Giannis on the court.
Remember, Barkley said the Heat losing Hero, in perspective, is worse than the Bucks losing Giannis for those 2 games.
Yeah. Which I don't.
Towards winning that series.
There's not whether you agree with that or not, there's not a huge separation one way or the other. So yes, that was a massive loss for Miami. They still got, and after that went out, it was, okay, Jimmy Butler is now your only reliable offensive weapon that you can go to. The Bucks knew it, and they couldn't stop it. Or they chose not to stop it.
It's like a Riggo drill. We got John Riggins in the backfield. He's the only back here. Everyone here knows he's getting the football. Stop him. You can't because it's the Hogs. I don't know how I wedged the Hogs into that conversation.
And it was, I know we're going to go through all this, but like like Coach Bud, he shouldn't be allowed out of the building what he did these last 2 games.
So can we talk about this? First of all, the box score. I urge everybody to look at the box. It's one of the most fascinating box scores you'll ever see because the Heat took 19 more shots than the Bucks, made 8 more. They took 12 more threes. That was included in there as well. and the Bucks out-rebounded them 56-45. So you're like, wait, how can the Bucks out-rebound the Heat by 11, and the Heat took 19 more shots, 12 more from three? How is that possible? The answer? The free throw difference. The Heat were 11 of 17 from the line, and the Bucks, Kelley, were 28 of 45. Giannis missed 13 of them, went 10 of 23. In a game that went to overtime, he missed 13 free throws.
Can't do it. He's I've been saying it for a long time. He's the best player in the NBA, the greatest player in the NBA. Giannis Antetokounmpo made an impression on my thoughts of him last night in a negative fashion.
Will Hill had a great point off air. He said, if the Nets don't get hurt, Giannis may not win that championship. If that doesn't happen, do we think of him entirely differently?
Possibly. I think we're going to get to some sound here for a minute.
Let's do this here.
Let's play this.
Giannis, when pressed on if this season was a failure.
You asked me the same question last year, Eric. Okay, do you get the promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, provide the house for them or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success. You know, and if you've never, I don't want to make it personal. So there's always steps to it. You know, Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure. That's what you're telling me. No, I'm asking you a question. Yes or no?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, exactly. So why you ask me that question? It's a wrong question. There's no failure in sports. You know, there's good days, bad days. Some days you are able to be successful. Some days you're not. Some days it's your turn. Some days it's not your turn. And that's what sports is about. You don't always win. Some other people's gonna win. And this year, somebody else is gonna win.
Eric, listen. Maybe we go to Mykonos and we hash this out. I love his accent. He said there's no failure in sports, Kelley. You believe that?
No, I don't believe it, Gill. Everybody's patting this guy on the back this morning for this answer, too. This is going back to what we were talking about before, this is a great answer. If you haven't won a championship before, and a lot of people don't view you as the best player in the NBA, this is a crap answer. You should expect a championship every single year if you're on Giannis Antetokounmpo. That is what you should expect every single season. And every year you don't get there should be a failure. I'd love to hear Michael Jordan's thoughts on what he considers every year that he didn't win a championship. Because I bet you he's way harsher on himself than Giannis was after this.
Kelley speaking for Bucks bettors everywhere.
It's not even that. Just as a basketball fan. Everybody's applauding him this morning for that answer. It's a great...
Not everybody.
It's a great Disney answer. It's a great participation trophy era answer.
Shaq didn't like the answer.
It's crap. It is crap.
The Bucks lose in overtime, 128-126. On the other side, we'll get to the coaching of Coach Bud towards the end of that game. Speaking of Tibbs, Spoelstra versus Tibbs is an awesome coaching matchup. You know what wasn't? Spoelstra versus Bud.
Boom. Roasted him in the fourth quarter.
I hate to belabor this game from last night, but I think we need to belabor
it. Yeah, we need to.
Okay, real quick, because let's get through this and get to the other games. Heat led by as many as 8 in the first quarter and the second quarter. The Bucks were down 8, 46-38. They went on a 20-5 run to take a 58-51 lead, the Bucks did. And you thought to yourself, oh, well, this is it. They're just going to roll in Game 5, and we'll go back to Miami. Nope. They went into the locker room with a 6-point lead, crushing Bucks first half bettors because Gabe Vincent, by the game of his life, hit a 3 with 4 seconds left.
I had -6.5 first half. Good times. Brooke Lopez missed a free throw. Gabe Vincent, corner 3.
Sure, of course he did. Third quarter, the Heat actually take a lead 81-80. Then the Bucks went on an 11-0 run to go up 91-81. They closed the quarter up 16. You're like, game over again, right? Nope. Fourth quarter, Heat get it down to 6 with just over 8 minutes left. You're like, how are they still in this game? Bucks get it back into double digits. You're like, okay, well, now it's over again, right? Nope. Bucks by 8 with just over 3 minutes left. The Heat go on an 8-0 run in less than a minute. And when I say the Heat do, I mean Jimmy Butler did. Butler bucket, Butler 3 the hard way, Butler 3 from behind the arc, 111 apiece. Last 2 minutes, Giannis layup, foul by Love. Giannis misses a free throw. Lopez gets the rebound. Matthew misses a 3. Then Bam hits a jumper to tie it up. Butler steals the ball, results in a jump ball. Bucks get it. Giannis misses a jumper. Butler misses a jumper. Then a foul on Love, remember, and Middleton hits 2 free throws. The Bucks are up 2. Butler misses a 3. Remember, he had the open look 3. He missed it. Strus fouls Drew. Drew makes them both. It's 117-113 Bucks. With 14 seconds left, they're up 4. Mm-hmm. And then Gabe Vincent splashes a 3 with 8 seconds left. 117-116. Lowry then whistled for a foul that the Heat challenge successful. Jump ball. Bucks get possession. Strus fouls Drew after a great save by Middleton. Giannis almost threw it out of bounds there, it should be pointed out.
Yeah, because the greatest player in the world wanted nothing to do with being on the free throw line in that moment.
Drew misses the first. Then we got 2.1 seconds left, and the Bucks are up 1. Drew misses the first. Now, I would have purposely missed the second.
I was thinking the same thing at that time, Gill.
Now, you can disagree because you can say a lot of people, a few people disagree where they're like, well, no, you just get the rebound with 1.7 and then you advance it. You don't know on a carom if you're going to get a clean rebound. That ball could bounce around the game. You could get it maybe, 0.7. And by the way, I tweeted that right then, not after the result of Butler scoring, because people are like, well, Butler only needed 0.5 seconds. I'm not based on the result. I'm just saying win probability there. It's at least worth a discussion. The announcers never brought it up.
Yes. I thought the same thing. I wasn't angry about it one way or the other,
yeah, but
I thought about it for sure.
So he makes the second. The Bucks are up 2. The Heat advance the ball because, again, stupid rule in the NBA. Hey, call timeout. I mean, that means I get to go up half a court.
Yep.
I hate that rule. Vincent from out of bounds, up top, backdoor lob to Butler, who gets a shove in there on Connaughton that goes uncalled, and he lays it in. We're going overtime. Brook Lopez not on the court.
Brook Lopez not on the court. Spo goes small, traps Bud completely. He takes Brook Lopez off the court, leaves no rim protection whatsoever with Giannis on the ball. He talks after post-game about trying to match up the small ball lineup. Gill, make him beat me with a 3 from outside. As soon as Lopez goes off the court, you know where they're going. Jimmy Butler to the rim.
Unders go to die on that game time bucket that sends it to overtime. Bucks do not call timeout after that. Regulation ends.
No timeout called.
At a time, I didn't call it. Overtime, Heat lead by as many as 7 in overtime, but up 2 with 9 seconds left in overtime. Vincent misses a 3 with 9 seconds left. Giannis then, the Bucks coming down court. Giannis forced, I guess, to give it up when Jimmy Butler steps in front of him. It seemed more like Giannis just didn't want to do anything with it. Yeah. He sends it to Middleton, who throws it to Grayson Allen. It ends up in Grayson Allen's hands, and he doesn't even get a shot off. The worst last possession ever, and the Bucks season is over.
Grayson Allen cannot be taking that shot, and even Grayson Allen, I'm still like, what are you doing? The clock's right in front of you. The only shot you got is a floater from the free throw line. Fine, you got to put it up.
Butler, 42-8. On 17 of 33 shooting. He shot 33 times. Vincent, 22 out of nowhere. Bam, 20 and 10. Giannis, 38 and 20 in defeat. Middleton, 33 in defeat. Lopez, 18 and 10 in defeat.
They kept dropping all game long, especially in the fourth quarter. Drop coverage on every time Jimmy Butler touched the ball. It burned them immensely, and they never adjusted. Bud never adjusted to Spo making a great call in the fourth of running the offense through Bam Adebayo. He facilitated almost everything, and they couldn't stop him. It was Bam facilitating to Jimmy Butler. It was a masterclass by Eric Spoelstra.
Hall of Famer. Spoelstra, Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.